All right. Good evening, parents. I'm just going to talk a little bit to you about Algebra 1, the course that I have for your son or daughter. My name is Dave Gingrich, and this is my 30th year at Cocalico. I've been here for quite some time, as evidenced by the bald head. It wasn't always that way. I did have a full head of hair, and 30 years later, it just dissipated. So um, just to tell you a little bit about the course and how, I work Algebra 1 and what kinds of things your kids see on a daily basis. First off, being the second semester of a year in which we had a pandemic, I really didn't know in the fall when we first started how things were going to look. I was, for 29 years I did things a certain way, and seemed to work pretty well. And then all of a sudden now, we're wearing masks, we're social distancing, we're in a hybrid. There's a lot more technology, and that really was not my forte, the technology. But myself, along with a lot of my colleagues, we vowed to get better for the kids. And I did things in the last year that I've never done, and just trying to be able to reach your kids. And I know you at home trying to teach them in the spring of last year couldn't have been too easy. I'm sure of it. I have 3 kids of my own. I understand that. So what we've come up with is, I think we've come up with the best way we can reach all kids, and make them as successful as they can. Looking at this semester, the spring of 2021, I'm excited about the fact that starting tomorrow, kids are going to be in the building 4 days a week. That makes me excited, okay? Because I think more learning, or a better quality of learning, can be made when kids are in school on a daily basis. Starting March 1st, we're looking to go to 5 days a week. So I am excited about that. Now, the part that makes me a little uneasy is this course right here, Algebra 1, and I'll talk to you a little bit about, for your kids, is a fast-paced course, okay? It is a course in which the kids in May, not at the end of May, unfortunately, it would be great if it would be the beginning of June, the end of May, but normally the Keystone exam is mid-May, in the teens, 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. Your kids will take the Keystone exam. So that tells me, normally, a kid that has, let's say, Algebra 1A, they get to take 1A. I taught that in the fall. They take 1B in the spring, and then they take the exam. That's great. Your kids, I've got to get the entire Algebra 1 course. I've got to put that into, let's say, 75 or 77 days before we take the Keystone exam. Now, I've never been one to teach to the exam, but I don't want your kids going into, I don't want them to go to an elephant shoot with a BB gun. I want them to be prepared. So I'll do my best to make sure they're as prepared as they can be. And again, there's no stress. We do the best we can. That's the way I've always tried to teach, and I'll continue to teach that way. I'm going to work them hard. I want them to work. I want them to be strained. But at the end of the day, algebra class should not be a big stressor in their life. They got enough other things to worry about. But we're going to work them hard in this class, and hopefully, they learn some things as well. So let me just share with you how the kids go about. They would have something like this. They would click on our course. This is what our course looks like. And just to do a few things for you, they will always do the attendance, whether they're in person or whether they're not. And that is how it is right now. Starting tomorrow, when we're here 4 days a week, I'm going to still start that way. When we go 5 days a week, we won't need to do that every day. I'll know who's in front of me and who's not in front of me. But at least in the beginning, I'll probably still have them fill out this form. And it's easy for me to track, and I know whether they're here or whether they're not here. Learning how to scan is a good skill. One of my pet peeves is when I'm grading papers, and I think it's best that we're not exchanging a lot of papers. What I have done for your kids, my courses as well as this course as well as the other courses is I always make the copies for the entire chapter. So currently, they're going to test tomorrow in chapter 1. I have all the chapter 2 papers and I hand them all out at one time so that we're not fumbling around with handing this paper out or handing that paper out. I collect very little. So when I say I collect very little paper copies, mostly everything they do is, they don't need their phone, okay? They can use a computer to do it, but they scan their work and they submit it to me that way. So we have some kids that are very skilled in that. We have other kids that we need to work with a little bit on that. But that's been a godsend so far as alleviate the exchange of papers, et cetera, et cetera. There's some course information. I'll go through that weekly. And this is kind of how the course is set up. So let's go over here and let's see what's in here, the course information. Okay, there's an e-book. So they do not have a textbook per se. There's an online version of the book that they can use. I don't think they need to use it. Some kids like to, and they're more than capable of using the e-book. All right. There's a syllabus here. We have study island assignments. That's all set up here. And this says my introductory video. That was from the fall. That's deactivated. I'll probably post this new one up right now and put it over the top of that, the one that I'm working on currently with you. But just to look at the syllabus, I don't think anything in here should be crazy. Now, email is the best way to reach me. So there's my email information. This course is designed to prepare kids to take the Keystone exam. That's true. Okay. So the way that we're grading, they do not have a final exam in this class. Their final exam is their Keystone exam. Yes, after that May date, whenever it is, will they continue to learn? They will. Will we have more tests after that? We will, tests and quizzes. But they will not have a final exam. So that's how their marking period 3 is worth this much, marking period 4 is worth this much. Now, the way I break down grading is this. They have daily assignments. I'll explain what those consist of. And they also have tests and quizzes. Tests and quizzes make up 60% of the course. This makes up 40% of the course. Excuse me. So you can look at the rest right there. Study Island, I already have that sheet. I'll show it to you. I'm a big believer right here in the Schoology, our course, okay? I put a lot of information there. I post videos. So there's all kinds of things that come about in the Schoology page. So please, please, please make sure your son or daughter is on that. And I'm a big believer in communication. That they, at no point in time, should they be thinking, well, does he mean this? Does he? I'm pretty blunt, and I try to be a good communicator so you know and they know what they owe, what they need to do, and how to get better. So it's a little bit of that. Let's go back here and look at this course information. Okay, Study Island are going to be assignments. I think I have 12 of them in here. They're not due daily. They're mostly weekly, and there's a document on that. Okay, the first one was this diagnostic test. There was 30 problems. It was due on the 27th. Now, the second one is due today. I'm going to probably push that back till tomorrow, and all they have to do is they go on to Study Island through Clever. Right? They know how to do that, and they complete 10 questions. If they get 7 of the 10 correct, I give them a 10 out of 10. They get an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, it's still a 10 out of 10. Anything below a 7, they get what they get. If they get a 3 out of 10, it's a 3 out of 10. If they complete the assignment by the due date and want to go back and do it again, they can do it again. Like, I don't mind them. Some kids take 2 times to get a 7 out of 10. Some kids do it with 1. Some kids take 3. Some kids say, I'll be happy with the 2 out of 10. I don't know why you'd want to be happy with a 2 out of 10, but some kids take the 2 out of 10. But you can do that as many times as you want to get that 7 out of 10 or above. So that's Study Island, and again, they're weekly or every other week. I don't think there's anything else on this course information, but let me just share with you how the course is set up. So I set up a weekly folder, and then when I go, let's just go last week and see. If I click on this, let me click on this 125. What they'll have is every Monday or every first day of the week, we'll have the plan. So they know what to expect for the week. And then I'll post a lesson in there. So let me go. I believe I want to go to, just go to this date right here. And this talks about a lesson. So this is the information that I give to your son or daughter on a daily basis. So daily attendance, Google Meet immediately. I want to see their face. They can't hide. Like, am I there? Am I not there? I want to see them. And then the kids that are in front of me, they'll go through the lesson in person. The kids that are at home, they have the ability to either watch me teach it via Google Meet, or else if they don't like to, a lot of them they'd rather just watch the video, okay? So let me just show you what a video looks like. We talk about homework. In this particular day, there was no submission. Most of the time, we are submitting things. And then there's an extra worksheet in here that I put in there. But this is all good stuff that they can look at. Now, if I go back and I look at where this tells me to go, tells me to go to chapter 1, tells me to go to section 1.5, tells me to go to day 2, and then there's a whole bunch of information. This is a submission that they will do. It's just a little online activity. There are the answers to the online activity. There's another one. There's a homework. And there's the CUDA software that I was talking about. But, there's homework answers from the night before. And here's an example of what I wanted to share with you with a video. So if you click on this, okay, what you will see is you will either see myself or Mr. Garrett. We are two of the guys that have taught Algebra 1 or Algebra 1A making videos. So it's either going to be myself, Mr. Garrett. Every now and then you'll see Mrs. Butts. We tried to divide and conquer the lessons the best we could. But this right here is a video. And if I click on this, let's see. I'm not going to share it with you, but okay, that's a 16-minute video working through the notes. Now, being in person is the best, okay? You can see me go through, I can help, can answer questions. This isn't a bad alternative in that, I'm going through the notes. They can pause it, they can rewind it, they can go back through. So for every lesson, there is going to be a video of a teacher, myself or Mr. Garrett, maybe Mrs. Butts, teaching the lesson. Okay? There are also extra problems. So if I get out of this, let me see, might be in day 1. If I go to this, the other nice thing about this book is that they offer, of course I don't have anything in here, this is what I mean by a submission. So this would be an assignment that I asked them to submit. But there are also extra problems in here, some extra tutorials if your son or daughter gets stuck. They can always look at the extra examples because those are, basically people from the book going through different problems. So that's kind of how this course is set up. I think Schoology is important. I also think just a small scientific calculator that allows us to work with fractions. Okay, I've already talked to them about it. I've signed some out for your kids. So whether they have a scientific calculator or they loan one for the semester, I think it is advisable in this course. If you have any questions with anything, please reach out to me via email, and I look forward to working with your son or daughter the entire semester.